Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I'm going to be showing you my very neglected garden. Here it is. It's full of weeds, but there's some food in there still. And I'm hoping that you can find some inspiration and motivation by the fact that even though it's still full of weeds, I'm still getting food, I'm still canning tomatoes, and I hope that this encourages you to go out and take a look around your garden, maybe pick some food and bring it inside. Or if you think, I don't have time to garden, I'm not gonna be able to take care of it the way I need to. You see these like perfect Instagram gardens where everything is like weeded and perfect, and you think, I don't have the time to do that, so I can't garden. You can still garden. It just may not look pretty, but you'll still get food from it. So let's go take a look around and I'll show you what we have going on. I need to set up my soaker hoses again. I've got a soaker hose that runs down this whole thing, down this whole thing, and then weaves around this side. But they're laying there, not connected over here where they go, because of mowing and weed eating, and then they weren't connected. This just needs to get replanted. It was summer squash. They all just died. We had squash bugs, and yeah, so this was cucumbers. I don't know. I got these weird yellow cucumbers, which these are just, I just didn't take it off. It just needs to get taken off, but I need to come out here with a pair of scissors and a bowl. I had some that started yellow, never turned green, and got big and yellow, which I don't know if anyone knows what the deal with that is. Here's a little guy. They're still doing, I mean, decently well. This one somehow got way over here. I didn't notice that one over here on the ground. We sell those at the farmer's market when I have extras. I need to pick some early enough that I can do cucumbers. We just did a basic cherry and then a yellow pear tomato. Yellow pear tomatoes are my husband's favorite, so we did those. Let's see. Gotta watch my step. The weeds are really high, and we are in snake country. They're like split. Where are some that don't look so bad? Here we go. That's my husband's favorite. And then just a mixture. I had really big intentions of keeping my tomatoes pruned. I planted really close together with the plan that I was going to prune them really well, and so it would be okay that I planted close together. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have planted them further apart because I just don't prune them like I should, and I didn't even really tie them up like I should. So yeah, well, kind of bad. This is my green beans. So I didn't have the city compost yet when these got started, so I put down some bags of like store-bought manure and compost, like the really cheap $3 a bag bags, and I mixed it in with the dirt I already had. See, there's a Japanese beetle. Can you see that? Right there. They just did a number on these green beans, and it had a really hard time putting on flowers, and if they don't put on flowers, then you don't get green beans. And I think that maybe that manure was really high in nitrogen, from my understanding. There's some more green beans I need to come out and pick. So that's kind of what we're dealing with the green beans. I mean, they look luscious. There's great foliage, but just didn't put on a lot of flowers. I've got marigolds kind of throughout to help with pollinators. The pollinators have been loving the zinnias. So lots of weeds this year. This whole bed, this is my first year gardening at this house. We kind of moved in late summer last year, and this whole bed was just, I mean, up to my chest with weeds. I was pregnant. I had a baby in February, my third son, Finley, and so the weeds are really taking back over. I did my best to get all of them out before they flowered, and whatnot before planting the garden in here. And yeah, it's just so bad. And I wanted to do, I'm gonna rest my arm on this fence. This camera's kind of heavy. I wanted to do a fall garden in here. That was the plan, but the weeds are so bad. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get control of them enough that I can plant a fall garden in here. And my plan over the winter, because this garden is fenced in separate from our backyard where we keep our pet dogs, and so and the chicken run and the goat run both connect to the garden, the fenced garden. If you watched my video 2 videos ago, I think, where I just did a backyard homestead tour, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But so I was thinking about over the winter putting the chickens and even the goats, I mean the chickens and goats can go together. Our Uno, our livestock guardian dog, she was born on a chicken farm. She's really good with chickens, so that's not a problem. So letting all of those animals come out into the garden, and I thought the chickens scratching around would really help with the weeds, I think, next year. And I'd also probably like to get, instead of doing straw mulch, do wood chip mulch, like a thick wood chip mulch. I think that would probably also help with weeds. I know the city that we bought the compost from also sells truck beds of wood chips for $10, I think. So yeah, I'm thinking that's kind of what my plan is. I don't know if I'm going to do a fall garden because of the weeds. We had potatoes here earlier in the spring, and over here was broccoli. So the broccoli really took a beating. It didn't get up potted the way it needed to. I had it under the carport to kind of get used to the temperatures. It was really windy and stormy, and I didn't bring them in time, and they got knocked out, and like all of the seedlings fell out of the pots. They took a beating. Planted them, they did grow, but they never headed up, like the actual broccoli heads never formed. And I noticed that the Japanese beetles that were eating my green beans were also really destroying the broccoli. And I left them as kind of a sacrifice plant. I mean, they had all big foliage, and it's just completely gone now because they ate it. Like, you can see the stems. I mean, look at the stems on these broccolis. I mean, you can see what's left. I mean, those are big leaves, and they just have gotten eaten. So Roma tomatoes, I did, I believe, about 30 tomato plants altogether, including cherries and Romas. I didn't do any big slicers because I wanted to can a lot. So I mean, you can tell by the fact that there's leaves here that there's a tomato plant here, and I can pick it up and you can see some tomatoes on it. They're not all this bad. These ones are probably the worst. So let me step back around here. I've been trying to pick them as soon as they start blushing and then let them finishing ripening up in the house, because a pest has been out here eating them. I've seen a couple squirrels. I look out my kitchen window. My kitchen window is it that window? I can't tell. No, it's this window. And so while I'm doing dishes, I can see out into my garden. It's very nice. And I've seen squirrels sitting on the edge, the rocks, with like a tomato eating it. So I know that's one of the pests, and I know I think there's some kind of bug. I haven't actually seen it that's eating them. I don't think it's a hornworm because I haven't seen any other hornworm damage, but about 30 tomato plants. So most of the ones up in the front right here are the cherry tomatoes, because my boys like to, I think it's biting me. My boys like to eat the cherry tomatoes, and they like to come and eat them straight from the garden, and that way they don't have to get into the garden and risk trampling plants, getting bitten by a snake, any of those things. They can just get right up here by the front and pick their cherry tomatoes. So then as we go back, the rest of this is all Romas, as you can see. I mean, they're just, yeah, I mean, look at these weeds. It's like kind of watching where I step, because we do have copperheads and whatnot around here. There's one that fell on the ground. It was like I started to tie the plants up and then just kind of stopped, and they just flopped over. But you'll still get tomatoes, even if you don't tie them up, even if you don't take care of them like you should, even if you don't prune them and get the suckers, you'll still get tomatoes. So I've still been bringing in giant bowls full of tomatoes. I did have sunflowers along the whole backs of both of these beds, but the deer got them, and then we had a really bad drought and I planted more seeds. They didn't germinate. I had started some and they were, about 6 inches, and transplanted them, and the deer got them before we had fences up. Re-sowed, direct sowed some more seeds, and the drought got the better of them. There's Uno. Hey, pretty girl. This is a volunteer watermelon plant. We give our chickens some extra, about stepped on a watermelon. We give our chickens watermelon rinds and stuff, so I'm guessing one of the watermelon seeds came out here. So this is our biggest one. Here's my hand for context. It's getting pretty big, but it's not quite ready. We've got another one there. This is our littlest one. We do have cedar boards under them. This is the pumpkin bed. Here we've got just a little pumpkin. We bought this compost from the city. That's about 30 minutes away. They sell compost by the truckload. And it wasn't, I think it was still a little hot. It wasn't all the way broken down. I put these wood chips on it for weed control, but so it's hard to say. It seems like, I mean, you can see our watermelon plants on this far side of the bed go way over there. They're all just, I mean, huge. And then over here, they were planted at the same time, started, I guess I didn't start them, they were direct seeded, but I mean, like, look at that, you know? These are bell peppers. The deer, there was these empty spots deer got, and so I just never seeded anymore. It was kind of like I started everything and seeded everything and then didn't go back, which I should have. I know there's some bell peppers on some of these plants. Let's see. They really need watered. Oh, there's a bell pepper on that plant and it is not doing well. So here's a little bell pepper. They're all just green bell peppers. Here's some more. Looking wonderful. This one's got several on it. Look at that little guy. These all need watered. I'm gonna have to come out and water, I think, tonight. It's real weedy in here, so let's see how close I can get. There's a nice big pumpkin. There. These are the watermelon seeds that I actually planted, not the volunteer. The volunteer is doing much better than these ones. I probably didn't thin them as well as I should have, but they're starting. There's some flowers on there. I'm not sure if there's any female or just the male flowers. I don't believe there's actually any fruit yet. I wanted to show you, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. It's not very pretty. It's not what I envisioned when I planted this garden, but it's still feeding our family, and I hope it's encouraging to you that if, you know, your garden is neglected, still go out and pick from it and see what you can find, because there's probably still food out there, even if it's overrun with weeds. It is August, so go easy on yourself. I'm trying to remind myself of that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.